Thank you for welcoming me onto the stage. So I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce and talk to you today about Amazon Business. This is the new B2B site that we launched in the UK last year. And the reason I'm really excited about this is because this provides a new opportunity for sellers on the Amazon Marketplace to reach a whole set of new customers, customers that you've not been able to reach previously on Amazon, and that's B2B customers. So over the course of this presentation, I'm going to hit on 4 points. I'm going to give you a little bit more of a background of Amazon. I'm sure you're very familiar, but I'm going to just talk you through our B2C journey. Then I'll focus on the Amazon business proposition. And this is a bit about how we are approaching Amazon business, how we're approaching the B2B market, and what we're thinking about it. Then thirdly, I'm going to talk about the Amazon business customer experience. And I'm going to spend quite a bit of time on the business customer, because I think it's really important from if you are a seller on the marketplace, to understand what the B2B customer journey looks like on Amazon Business. And then finally, if you're not a seller on the marketplace, then this is an opportunity to understand how to actually go about selling on Amazon Business Marketplace. So our vision has always been the same. It is to be the Earth's most customer-centric company. And the way we approach our vision is threefold: selection, price, and convenience. In terms of selection, we want to bring as much product onto the site so that customers have choice. In terms of price, we want to offer a fair and competitive price on the marketplace so that customers get what they're looking for. And then in terms of convenience, we actually like to break this down into 3 buckets. The first being that we want customers to be able to easily search and discover items they're looking for. The second bit is we want customers to be able to pay in the most convenient method. So if you're a consumer sat at home, you might use your own credit card. If you're a business, you can use a purchase card. Or, more recently, you can pay on net terms, so using a pay-by-invoice system. The third part of convenience is down to delivery. So both in terms of how quickly we can get a product to a customer and also the most convenient method. So what I mean by this is, at the moment on our site, you can have 5 to 7 day delivery, or if you're a Prime customer, you get access to a next day promise on your orders, and sometimes even a same day promise. And if you're a Prime Now customer, you actually have access to a 1-hour delivery, which is really great. The other part of convenience is you can also opt to have either a product delivered to your doorstep, or you can retrieve it from an Amazon locker. So there are a number of ways to receive products. So in terms of Amazon's customer reach in the B2C segment, it's growing, it's large and it's growing. I'm just going to share a few statistics taken from our investor relations report from last year, as well as some third-party data from Comscore. And the first one on the left-hand side is just to give you an idea of the customer reach that we have right now. So we have 300 million active customers worldwide on Amazon. Bring that down to the UK, that's about 30 million customers. And that's representative of about 58% of the population. In terms of sellers, so statistics on the right, what's interesting here, for the seller community, this is really powerful because we know that 50% of all units sold on Amazon worldwide come from our third-party sellers. We have, in the UK, 250 million products that are listed on our site. And if you're using our logistics and inventory logistics service, which is called Fulfillment by Amazon, which I'll touch upon a bit later on in the presentation, worldwide in 2016, 2 billion units were processed through our Fulfilled by Amazon service. So that's our logistics service. So B2C is really exciting. It's been growing fast, and it's an area where we've been growing really well. B2B, however, presents a fantastic growth opportunity. I'm going to share a couple of stats here, again from third-party sources. So Frost & Sullivan on the graph on the left-hand side, and then a Forrester statistic on the right-hand side in terms of some of the data points. So on the left, the graph just shows that B2B by 2020, in terms of e-commerce revenues worldwide, will be twice that of B2C. We already know that B2B is actually bigger than B2C, but the growth is so fast that it's going to be at least around twice as big just in 2 years' time. I think some of the stats on the right-hand side just give you an idea of buying behavior from a B2B customer perspective. I don't need to go into all of the details, but I think what you can see here is that customers, B2B customers specifically, do come online and purchase online. And importantly, when they are repeat purchasing, so they're buying products that are very familiar, that they've bought before, then online makes a real kind of easy choice for them. It's convenient, they can buy, they can search what they're looking for, and they can purchase it in the most convenient way. So this is really exciting, and Amazon in 2015 took a strategic decision to launch Amazon Business in the US. So we launched in April 2015, and in the first year, we grew to $1 billion of sales, which is pretty good. And right now, we have 1 million active business users on the .com site in the US. Bringing that home to the UK, we launched last year. We're just about approaching our 1-year anniversary, and we have just over 90,000 business customers using our site. They have access to the millions of products, both that are listed by B2C sellers as well as B2B sellers. And again, you'll see that half of all units sold in the UK marketplace come from our 3P sellers. The other point is that we're actually starting to expand. So we were actually live in Germany before we launched in the UK, just 4 months before. Last year, we launched in Japan and India as well for Amazon Business. And more recently, we launched in France just a few weeks ago. So what is Amazon Business? Well, effectively, we like to think of it as your one-stop shop for e-procurement. So it is a dedicated sales channel that sits on top of the .co.uk site, and it allows business customers and business sellers to interact in a B2B way. So let's take this as a real-life example. Let's imagine you're a business and you have about 3 or 4 locations. Let's say you have 3 or 4 offices based across the UK. You might set up a B2B buying account and then use that to procure goods. So you might use it to procure your office stationery. You might perhaps use it to buy your IT equipment. You may also use it to purchase your consumables for your office kitchen. So Amazon Business has a very wide range of selection on its site, and this really caters for business buying needs. The other point, the second bullet point, talks about the free automatic VAT calculation service. Now, this is really important for both sellers and buyers. This is a new feature we've launched, and it allows sellers to, B2B sellers, to show listings with a VAT exclusive price and also offer a downloadable VAT invoice for every transaction. This is really important, particularly for our B2B customers who have told us that they want to receive a VAT invoice every time they purchase something on Amazon. So we've introduced this system, and we'll go into a bit more detail in the coming slides. There are also a whole host of other features that we've launched for both customers and sellers, and we'll talk about them in the coming slides. I think the last point to mention here is that for buyers, registration is free on our site. So what that means, actually, we attract a whole host of customers from a very wide segment, from startups to small to medium and to large enterprises. So who are our customers on Amazon? Well, it's across actually a very broad spectrum. And I can't really boil it down to one particular segment that's doing well. I think we've covered actually all of these segments so far in terms of industries. So we have not only public sector organizations that purchase on Amazon Business, we also have private companies that purchase on Amazon Business. And they all find it a really convenient way, this is the feedback we get, they find it a really convenient way to procure on our site. So let's delve a little bit deeper into understanding B2B customer behavior. So we surveyed a number of customers to understand what challenges they face right now. And I've put I'm going to bring up 4 points on the slide. And this really talks about some of the challenges they face and why they think Amazon Business is the right solution for them. The first is that customers have a fragmented supply base. So if you're a small business, you might have a few hundred suppliers that you work with. If you're a large enterprise, you might have thousands of suppliers that you work with. This can be sometimes challenging in terms of managing contracts on an annual basis. And so Amazon Business, in that sense, provides a one-platform solution where we bring together lots of suppliers, sellers, vendors onto the site, and customers have choice, and they can purchase across multiple categories. The second point that customers have told us is that they want to track spending and avoid rogue spending. within their companies. So they might have a number of users within their company that have purchase cards that are spending, but this can be quite difficult to track. With Amazon Business, you can set up, as a customer, you can set up multi-user accounts. You can have approval workflows where one or two people within the organization are enabled to approve every transaction. You can also set up data and analytics to understand who's spending and what they're spending it on. The third point that business customers tell us is that they find it difficult to search for products across their wide supplier base. This can be difficult in terms of looking at prices across the different supplier base. It can be difficulties in terms of searching for the actual products they really want. On Amazon Business, you have a site that provides transparent selection, pricing, and ratings so that B2B customers can make a very quick and informed decision on what they're looking for. The final point is around delivery and delivery experience. When you're operating across a number of different suppliers, they all offer a different delivery experience. They might offer a very different delivery promise. On Amazon Business, you have a set type of delivery promise. Again, you either have a 5 to 7 business day promise, or you can have a next day promise if you're a Prime customer, or a same day promise. So this enables business customers to consistently manage their inbound material. So I'm just going to put up a few customer testimonials. These are taken from some of our customers in the US. And I think we've taken the ones from the US because they're a bit more established. They've been on the on the site for a couple of years now. And so just wanted to kind of give you an idea of some of the feedback they're saying. I'm not going to go into all the text, but I think what's interesting here is a stark difference in terms of the different buyers that we have. You've got Siemens, who's a multinational manufacturer, and you've got a county council, which might be a much smaller organization. What's important here is that Amazon Business suits any type of business customer. So let's have a look at going a little bit deeper into the customer journey and what the B2B experience looks like. The first slide here shows you what the traditional consumer gateway looks like. So if you're familiar with buying on Amazon at home, whenever you open up, you'll tend to see Amazon devices, links to Amazon Prime, video, music, and our fashion site. The gateway experience for business buyers is very different. We will flag up important products that are really necessary or important to business buyers. And when you come to search products, we've created a ranking so that we bring up categories that are more important to business buyers. So what you'll see here is you'll see office products, you'll see computers, IT, health and safety equipment, which is much more relevant to business buyers. What you won't see in here is fashion items. You can actually shop the full directory as a business customer, but it's not flagged up to you in the first instance. In terms of the experience that business customers have on the site, there are a few. Hopefully, you'll be able to see some of the slide over there. Sorry, you'll be able to see that there's the first thing to notice is that we are displaying VAT exclusive prices. So a seller, this is a listing from Ryman. And it's a shredder, and they've listed it, and you can see there's a VAT exclusive price, which means not only that business customers see this, but they also will guarantee a downloadable VAT invoice when they purchase this product. The other bit to notice is we have a business price against this. So this listing has a special price that has been provided just for business only. So as a seller, you can set a price that's different to the consumer offering. The other thing to note here is that the seller has created quantity discounts. We've not been able to do this before on Amazon, so if you're a B2C seller, you can't do this, but in the B2B experience, you can. And you can set quantity breaks for business customers. And the final thing to note on this slide is we have a flag here that says this seller is a business seller. This is really important because it tells business customers that they can receive a downloadable VAT invoice upon that transaction. That's what business customers are looking for. In terms of carrying over some of our consumer experience, we also carry over Prime. So if you are joining us as a B2B customer, you can actually carry over your personal Prime account onto your B2B account. That's one option. If you're not a Prime customer, then not to worry, because you can also benefit from the Prime experience in terms of the delivery experience when your order value is over £30. Some of the more recent features that we've launched go into a little bit more detail about the business invoice feature and the request for quantity discounts. These are both powerful for both the business buyer and the business seller. The first one, the business invoice filter, basically it's very much the same as the Prime filter. So if you're used to using the Prime filter to filter on selection that's available with a next day promise, well, with the business invoice filter, you can filter on selection that comes with a downloadable VAT invoice. B2B customers use this a lot. This is what they're using to filter out selection that's really relevant for them. The second point, feature there is the request for quantity discounts. So again, B2B customers have the option here on a select few products to actually request a discount for a larger quantity. So if you are shopping for, or you're looking to procure some items, and you can't see whether you can get a discount for like 20 or 100 units, you can put a request into the seller. That quote goes back to whichever sellers list that product, and then they will bid for that opportunity, and then present you with, as a business customer, present you with hopefully a better price. So going on to what the experience looks like for sellers. There are four key things to point out here that are the new to what we think is new to business sellers. The first thing is there's an opportunity to reach new business customers. We like to think of this as an incremental opportunity. Business customers not been using our site before, and so we are attracting new B2B buyers. And I think for sellers, that means there's an opportunity in a really easy way to reach out to customers that you perhaps wouldn't have thought about reaching out to before, or it's a really easy way to do so. The second bit talks about the VAT calculation service that I've talked about earlier. This really is an important feature, and I tend to stress this feature quite a bit because it's really, really important for business customers, and we get a lot of feedback from this. So we have a VAT pricing engine that allows you to work out exactly what the right price display should be for VAT exclusive prices on the site, and you can also get a downloadable VAT invoice. The third bullet point talks about some of the other features that we've launched, and we've talked about what it looks like from a customer point of view, so business prices and quantity discounts and managed quotes. Sellers can set business prices that are very specific to what they're looking to do in terms of their B2B offering versus their B2C offering. They can also set quantity discounts, and that allows you to attract large quantity orders in the B2B environment. And you can also work on managed quotes. And the other more important point, and the final point, is around our industry-leading fulfillment. So here is an opportunity. We've actually carried over all of the good stuff we built within our B2C environment onto the B2B. And so this really allows you to make use of our industry-leading fulfillment in a B2B setting. So let's talk a little bit about the steps to launch on Amazon Business. I've broken this down into really 5 simple steps, just to give you an idea, an overview of the journey for a seller. So the first step is to register your account and start to list your products. You need to decide which products you want to list, and then you can pretty much get going. Once you've listed the products, customers are able to discover, search, and find your products, and then they start to make purchases, so down to step 3. Once a purchase is made, either that will be routed to your own inventory management system, or if you are using our logistics services, it will come to Amazon's inventory management system. The distinction on part 4 I will go into in the next slide, but they're basically essentially 2 routes to delivering products to customers. You can either do it yourself as a seller and deliver products directly to the customer, or you can use our fulfillment services to reach customers. Once the order has been shipped, then the seller is paid into their Seller Central account. So this is the account that you use to manage all of your inventory listings. and then you can set up your account to disperse on a daily basis. So the funds will be dispersed to your bank account on a daily basis. So let's kind of go into step 4 in a little bit more detail. So we talked about the 2 routes to be able to deliver to customers, either through yourself as the kind of the merchant, or using our logistics services, which we call Fulfilled by Amazon, or FBA in short. So let's look at the top line, the blue line at the top. The easy route here is to list your products, and once a purchase is made, you then have your systems, your team pick, pack, and ship the order to the customer. You might decide to use your own logistics service, or perhaps you would use a third-party logistics provider. That's the kind of quick and easy way to set up your account on Amazon. Alternatively, you might decide to use our Fulfilled by Amazon service. Now, there is a clear distinction here. If you are using this service, you can immediately have access to our Prime customers. So what this means is once you've listed your products, you then send that inventory into one of our UK warehouses. Once an order comes through, Amazon then will pick, pack, and ship that order, that unit, and then send it using our logistics services to the customer. And we send that on a next day promise. That's really important because that immediately gives you access to Prime customers. Now, this generally we're talking about here working in the UK. You can also do this internationally. So we talked about the other marketplaces that Amazon has set up, Amazon Business has set up. Well, if we look a little bit more broadly, we have marketplaces across UK, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain in Europe. In the B2B world, we have UK, France, and Germany. So if you're looking to actually sell your products across Europe and target Prime customers, then you can use our Fulfillment by Amazon services to do that in a really easy and scalable way. I won't go into too much detail about how that works. I'm happy for either myself or my team to kind of go through this in a bit more detail if you want at our booth later. But essentially, it does allow you to reach our Prime customer audience across Europe in a really fast and scalable way. So kind of wrapping up this presentation, I think there's 5 key takeaways here. I think the first is Amazon Business presents opportunity for existing sellers and as well as new sellers to grow your business on Amazon. So there's an opportunity to reach a completely new customer segment that's not been present on Amazon, and these being B2B buyers. The second bit is we've taken across all of our e-commerce capabilities that we built on the B2C site and brought them over onto the B2B site. So everything that perhaps you might be familiar with using on our B2C site is available on B2B. And that's really important because it brings parity, and you can do even more with some of the new features and tools we've launched within the B2B site. So we have these additional features that are very specific to the B2B buying and purchasing process, and we've set these up so that sellers can meet the needs of buyers. And we talked about quantity discount prices, we talked about business prices, as well as managed quotes. These are really important as well for business customers. I think the fourth point is we're already seeing great traction. Right? So you've seen some of the numbers about the number of customers we have in the US. The UK marketplace is growing in the same way, as well as Germany, and hopefully within France as well. And so we're getting great traction. Both customers and sellers really enjoy the experience, and I think it's a great opportunity to grow business. And I guess the final point is we're excited and committed to building Amazon Business with you, and happy to have a chat at our booth. I think it's C31 after this presentation. That concludes the presentation. Thank you very much for listening.